Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I wanted to welcome you back to Notes from the Pastor Cave. Pastor Cave is nice and warm today, even though we've had some really pretty miserable weather outside. It's always nice in the Pastor Cave, and I hope that none of my friends watching from Texas or Oklahoma are, a little jealous because we also know what it's like to be without power. Though right where we are right now, it's not too much of a problem because we're kind of on a main road, and so we're always one of the first places to get their power back. But I have lived places in my life where we were one of the last to get our power back, just because we were so rural, and it can really definitely be a drag. We are moving on to chapter 5 of Exodus. Spent a really long, actually even longer than I thought. I thought we would spend a long time in chapters 3 and 4, but we actually spent a little longer in 3 and 4 than I thought that we would. So we're gonna move on to chapter 5, and what's happened is that Aaron, Moses' brother, has been brought onto the scene. He's going to kind of be the talker. That's God's compromise with Moses on that is that Aaron is going to assist him and kind of be the voice, while Moses is kind of going to be the symbol. I guess you could put it that way. And so they've gone to see the Pharaoh, the king, and they're making a very simple request. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says: "Let my people go, so that they may hold a festival to me in the desert." So at that point, they're not even asking to be entirely released. They're asking just to go for a few days, and the Lord is nothing to Pharaoh. So Pharaoh makes that clear. He says, "Who's the Lord, that I should obey him and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." Okay, this is all chapter 5. And so this kind of goes on. Moses and Aaron then say to Pharaoh, "The God of the Hebrews has met with us. Now let us take a 3-day journey into the desert to offer sacrifices to our Lord, to the Lord our God, or he may strike us with plagues or with the sword." So they're trying their best to warn Pharaoh. And what happens is that essentially the Pharaoh accuses them of being lazy. You just want time off because you just don't want to work hard. And so what Pharaoh eventually does here is that he orders the Hebrews to continue making the bricks for the building of the cities that they've been enslaved to build. But they're also going to have an added responsibility now. And the added responsibility is they're going to have to go collect and get the straw that's necessary in the brick. There's the clay that's mixed with the straw that makes the bricks. And so they're going to be required, before the Egyptians apparently were supplying them with the straw, and then they would make the bricks. Pharaoh says, "No, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to, you're obviously kind of lazy here, so we're going to make you do even more work." It's this idea of making bricks without straw or enough straw. And interestingly, a member of my family has just kind of recently gone through this. In that they were required to do a certain amount of piecework in an 8-hour shift. And it was some strange number like 702 or something. I don't know how they came about this number. But they were asked to do this piecework. But then because of the economy, they got their hours cut. So they were only doing 6-hour shifts, but the management was still insisting that they get these 700 pieces done, which was just really kind of an absurdity, and was just kind of one of those what's one of those things that a company that's badly managed will do to people that they just kind of consider to be in and out employees. It's like, oh, we're going to use these employees up, and because they'll always be. It's just one of those companies. They always feel like there's going to be another employee, tomorrow. So we'll just do with these employees whatever we want to do. But one of the things I wanted to kind of show you today is this contrast, because when we looked at chapters 3 and 4, we saw God taking the utmost care to say to Moses, "Look, here's your gifts. Here's what you have, and whatever you do with that, if you will turn it over to me, then I'm going to give it some supernatural oomph, some supernatural power here, and I'm going to make it even more effective. And the gifts that you don't feel that you have, but you're still going to need to accomplish this task, this work that I have you to do, I'm going to make sure that that you have access to those things, and that I'm going to give you everything you need to get the work done that I want you to get done." Now, Pharaoh serves as a type. It's talking typology here. Pharaoh serves as a type of Satan, but he also serves. He can also serve as just this idea of kind of working in the world, working in the secular life, with people who are not necessarily interested in whether they're bosses, employers, people who are not necessarily interested in the things of God. And so the kind of the opposite, very much the opposite of what God says, is Pharaoh that says, "Oh, well, I'm already giving you, I'm giving you too much, so you're going to have to go find your own straw to make these bricks." And so I'm gonna make this harder. So here's God saying, "Hey, I'm going to supply you with everything you need to accomplish your task." Here is Pharaoh saying, "Even that which I originally gave you, I'm not going to give you anymore. You're not gonna have that." And we really have to be mindful of this. And don't get me wrong. When you are secularly employed, whatever your job is, career, whoever it is that you work for, it's a testimony to work hard and to do the best that you can at your job. But at the same time, you have to recognize that there are times when our jobs are requiring us to make bricks without straw, and that it's kind of it's a sign of a secular worldview, of a worldly worldview that says, I really don't care about you. What I care about is what gets accomplished, what gets done. You Hebrews are a dime a dozen. And so we're just gonna use you, chew you up, and spit you out, which is exactly the way the secular world views its humanity. You're just a cog in the wheel. You're just a number. We'll just chew you up and spit you out. Certainly, if we want to go back to the Satan typology. Satan would love to use you to accomplish whatever it is he wants to accomplish in you, and then he'll just throw you by the wayside. He'll just use you up, chew you up, spit you out. So we have this kind of wonderful contrast here between how God views us as individuals and views us with value, that we have value. He knows that there are things that we have been gifted with, and he will further enhance those gifts. And he knows that sometimes there are things that we're required to do, but we're not really gifted to do, and he will help us with that. As opposed to Pharaoh, the world that just says, just go get your work done. and we'll, if you're going to complain at all, we're going to make it even harder for you. And we really don't care about you as the individual. We're just going to chew you up and spit you out. Once again, we just see the value of living for God. That living for the world just eats you up, and then just casts you aside. And no matter how you may feel about that right now, I guarantee you that somewhere down the road, if you have decided that your life is dedicated to worldly pursuits, that's where you're going to end up. You're just going to be a number. You're just going to be a statistic. When you surrender your life to God and you become part of His kingdom, you're never just a number. You're never just a statistic. You are valued. So that's the word for today from chapter 5 of Exodus. So, vita brevis, gloria aeterna. Life is short, glory is eternal. Hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.